If you're watching this, that means OKC just whooped the Timberwolves in a nasty way. Naz Reid failed Minnesota, and everybody hates SGA more than ever now. So stay with me. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about last night's game. Listen, Jada's momentum from Game 7 carried on last night. He was aggressive, played within his strengths, he put his head down and attacked the paint, and also managed to get a ton of steals. He was great. He finished with 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, as well as 5 steals. Caruso proves again that size doesn't matter. It's not the size of the dog, but the fight in the dog. Or however that saying goes. He played about as good defense as you can play on a guy like Julius Randle, who's been completely in the zone and locked in during these playoffs. Chet Holmgren. Holmgren did practically everything right. He wasn't forcing any bad looks or begging for the ball. When the ball got to him, he was hitting Gobert with the classic dribble penetration, and we got to see him make some really cool hook shots. And as for SGA, ooh, SGA. The guy had a great game. He finished with 31, 9, and 5. There's no way they would have won this game if it wasn't for his dominant performance. Even still, I want to talk about him and his playstyle more than his performance last night. See, SGA is someone who gets a lot of criticism for his incredible ability to draw fouls. And in the regular season, I was actually someone who came to his defense on numerous occasions because I really think we as fans do tend to over-exaggerate these things at times. In the past, I've been on record saying this. They call Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a foul-baiting free throw merchant for averaging 32 points per game on 9 free throw attempts per game. But Michael Jordan, who averaged 30 points per game on 8.2 free throw attempts for his career, is labeled the undisputed GOAT. The old NBA media and Jordan-era fans constantly move the goalposts when judging today's players. No matter how great a player is, they'll never get their fair shake because the narrative's already set. Is this just bias, or are they scared to admit today's game has evolved beyond their era? Wow. Well, here's what I think. No, I don't think it's the Jordan stans running around with this narrative. In fact, I believe they more than anybody would know this is a silly argument because getting to the free throw line a ton is very normal for superstar guards who don't shoot a massive volume of three-pointers. We saw this with D-Wade, Kobe, AI, MJ, and now we're seeing this with Shai. It's not that I disagree that watching players shooting free throws is super boring. I think most guys would admit that watching superstars shoot free throw after free throw can get very boring and sometimes even disrupts the flow of the game. But where the difference lies is a lot of the guys who are complaining about Shai's playstyle don't actually watch OKC games, which makes me think that these guys aren't mad that superstars are getting to the free throw line. You're just mad that Shai's getting to the free throw line. Now, why might that be? Why do so many people hate Shai? I mean, the dude's humble, down to earth, always plays it cool and says the right things. And so the only possible conclusion that I could come to is it has nothing to do with who he is. It has everything to do with who he's not. He's not Jokic. And you hate him because he's a threat to Nikola Jokic and Nikola Jokic's legacy. And so it turns out that it's not even the Jordan Glazers after all. This whole time it's been the Jokic stans. So yeah, it turns out Shai isn't any more of a foul merchant than any other elite all-time shooting guard. And yeah, I did say all-time great because that's how good he's been playing. And I thought I was being logical when I said that, but after last night's game, I think there might be a gray area within this conversation. Because although in the past superstar guards also got to the free throw line a ton, back then, those dudes were actually getting fouled most of the time. They were getting fouled hard. Game 1 was just such a shame to me because the refs have been so great this entire postseason. So it just sucked to see that now in the Western Conference Finals of all times, we're beginning to see them become inconsistent. They've truly given SGA the ultimate golden whistle. But you know what? I'm also not sure if it's fair to blame the refs. Although it's easy for us to tell when SGA is overplaying a call or flopping while sitting from our TV screens and replaying the same play over and over, the refs can't review every single flop like us. They don't have that same privilege. So really, I think we should be pointing our fingers at SGA because this guy actually was a shameless foul merchant in yesterday's game. He alone shot 14 free throws, and when you take into account the way that he got them, shame on him. Now, as for the Timberwolves, Julius Randle was phenomenal. He actually led his team with 28 points and has yet to have a bad playoff game if you ask me. Jay McDaniels was horrible defensively. Some of it wasn't his fault thanks to SGA's foul baiting, but he got caught with his hands in the cookie jar multiple times, and he didn't have the discipline to keep his hands where the refs could see him. It was so bad he actually got himself 6 fouls and did foul out. Gobert had a really quiet night. Nothing he did in particular stood out to me. Ant-Man had missed almost that whole second quarter after injuring his ankle again. This guy's a dog though. He came right back in that third quarter. He's struggling out there, man. That ankle's killing him. You could tell he really should not be playing right now, but it's the playoffs, the postseason. This is where legacies are made. There's really nothing you could tell him that would keep him off that court. You could tell throughout this game that OKC and Minnesota spent a lot of time going back and forth, learning how to play against each other. And when Edwards came back after getting taped up, he just didn't do a whole lot. He couldn't figure out that OKC defense. They smothered him, and as a result, he flopped big time last night. He had 0 fourth quarter points. And although I think Edwards' cold game is a big reason the Wolves couldn't win, The biggest reason Edwards couldn't get going is because of Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. Both of them played almost 30 minutes, and during that time, they were shooting brick after brick after brick. Dante DiVincenzo shot 3 of 14, and Reid, the guy who most Timberwolves fans consider as a guy who can do no wrong in their eyes, did wrong. The dude went 1 of 4-11, and for some reason thinks he has a green light to take logo Stephen Curry level 3s while down double digits. It's ridiculous. And because of this, OKC was able to send double teams at Edwards and just put a whole lot of pressure on him, because they knew once he passes out, his teammates were more than likely either going to turn the ball over completely or miss the open look. Also, since we're on the topic of turnovers, Minnesota could not protect the damn basketball. They had 14 turnovers. It was a lot of carelessness out of everybody. And because of it, OKC actually went on to score 31 points off of turnovers. Those are free points. You're giving them free possessions. 31 points? Are you kidding me? You're not winning a game when your opponent is getting 31 free points. You just can't compete with that. Really, the only reason this game wasn't a blowout by halftime was because Julius Randle went Super Saiyan 3 again and hit 5 threes in that first half. So yeah, terrible game 1 out of Minnesota and the refs. Anyways, final score 114-88. Game 2 should be full of adjustments, so I expect it'll be a significantly more exciting and competitive game. So yeah, on that note, that's what I think about everything going on right now. But you let me know whether you got the Wolves or OKC winning game 2 in the comments below. Also, feel free to check out my newsletter, Roby Report. If you enjoy the content and also enjoy reading, that's going to be a great place for you to also keep in touch with the NBA, NFL, UFC, and really every sport I enjoy. If there's any interest at all, I'm thinking I'll probably start posting 1 to 2 articles a week. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter over there. I'll be putting the link to Roby Report in the description below. It's also attached to my social media links on my homepage. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn those noties on. Matista signing out.